everyone, Steven here with My Life Outdoors. So you know how some things just aren't worth it?
It's not worth it.
Not worth it.
He's not worth it.
Worth helping.
Not worth it.
Well, today I'm talking about 3 ultralight gear items that simply aren't worth the weight savings. Number 1 is something that has actually been bothering me for a while now, and it all started when I bought this chair. Let me tell you something, people have strong opinions about chairs, and it's fairly common practice for ultralights to take something like this seat pad that came on my Gossamer Gear Mariposa 60 instead of a heavy chair like the Helinox Chair Zero. And look, I understand why. I mean, this seat pad weighs a mere 3 ounces, where the Helinox weighs right at a pound. But I think the chair is worth its weight, and I want you to hear me out on this because it's the whole reason why I decided to make this video in the first place. Look, I get a lot of comments about this chair. People saying things like it's a waste, that it's not worth it, that they would never carry a chair like this, and I understand. I mean, I understand where they're coming from because I used to be right there with them wondering why on earth would anyone carry a chair when you can just simply sit on the ground. That is, until a friend of mine brought a chair on a hike that we did together a few years ago, and I made the, well, the fortunate mistake of sitting in it just for a few minutes. And when I did, I realized that there's more discomfort in sitting on the ground than there was in carrying an extra pound in my pack. And I didn't even mean to make that rhyme. Look, the ground is worse than a pound. Now think about this with me for a minute. The difference in a pound on your back is really not that noticeable. For instance, let's say that you're carrying a fairly lightweight 20-pound pack. The difference between 20 pounds and 21 pounds on your back, for the most part, is going to go unnoticed. Even if you have 30 or even a 35-pound pack, the difference between 35 and 36 pounds is hardly perceivable. And I know that it's not just about the weight for ultralighters, that it's a different mindset, that it's all about simplicity. And look, I mean, I understand, but hear me out. 1 pound is going to be hard to notice. But the difference between sitting on the ground and sitting on a chair is the difference between night and day. Even this pad, which admittedly is better than the ground, still has a considerable noticeable difference than sitting in a chair, which means you suffer more from sitting on the ground than you do carrying an extra pound, which is why these comments bother me so much, because they hide behind the idea of, well, I guess I'm just tougher than you are. Well then, tough guy, why are you afraid to carry an extra pound? If you're so tough, then you ought to be willing to carry 30 or 40 or even 50 pounds. If it's about being tough, if it's about who can suffer more, then why take any gear at all? But if it's about being smart, then I think the chair is well worth its weight. In fact, I feel so strongly about this that I'm thinking about starting this whole campaign that I'm going to call Take a Seat, because I think that we would all be a whole lot happier if we would all just take a seat. But I'm curious what you think, so leave me a comment as I move on to number 2. So I recently picked up a pair of X-Zero sandals, primarily for water crossings, because I got tired of carrying around my heavy and bulky Tevas just in case I ran into a water crossing or two. And I really wanted a pair of sandals I could just throw in my pack just in case I encountered a water crossing. And so I recently picked up a pair of X-Zero Z-Trek sandals, expecting them to weigh something like 5 ounces each. And I don't know where I got that weight from, because their website actually says that a pair of men's size 9, the same size that I bought, will only weigh 6.6 ounces, but for some reason I was expecting 5 ounces. And so I was pretty disappointed when I found out that they actually weigh 7.5 ounces each, making it closer to a pound, 15 ounces, for my size 9 sandals, which means the sandals that I bought weigh a full 2 ounces heavier than advertised. I mean, 2 ounces, no big deal, right? I mean, as long as I don't have to carry around those big, heavy, and clunky Tevas anymore. But then I made the mistake of weighing my Tevas just to see how much weight I was saving. And guess what? My Tevas only weigh 1.5 ounces more per sandal for a total of 3 ounces saved. Which, I mean, 3 ounces is 3 ounces, but it's further complicated by the fact that the X-Zero sandals simply aren't comfortable. Something that they actively advertise.
I don't wear comfortable shoes. I refuse to wear comfortable shoes, and you shouldn't wear comfortable shoes either.
Which I admit I don't subscribe to the barefoot philosophy, and so maybe I just don't get it. But from a water crossing standpoint, the Tevas are much better on rocks and uneven ground and riverbeds. The stiffness of the sole helps with the rocks, where the flex of the Xero sandals easily allows flowing water to bend back the toes, allowing your toes to be easily exposed to rocks and sharp objects in the water. To make it all worse, I paid over $60 for my Xero sandals, and their website even says that price is going to be going up in September, where I only paid $45 for my Tevas. In my opinion, they simply aren't worth the price for the weight saving. Now, I might keep using them because, well, I already own them, and like I said, 3 ounces is 3 ounces, but if I knew this before I bought them, I probably wouldn't have. Last on this list is something that I've gotten a few comments on, and that is my super ultralight back knife. Now, when I first saw this thing, I thought, I gotta have one of those. I always take a knife with me, mainly for cutting cheese and summer sausage, occasionally for trimming moleskin and things like that. But other than that, I don't really use a knife that much, and so I thought the back knife will be perfect for me. That being said, the back knife isn't really a knife. It's just a razor blade in a plastic holder, which I really didn't think I would mind because I use box cutters all the time around the house and in the shop. But the back knife isn't a box cutter. It's difficult to open and close. It's a little scary to hold and to cut things with. There's nothing that keeps a blade from retracting into the plastic, and it just doesn't feel solid when you're cutting things. Compare that to my lightweight Gerber knife, and it's night and day difference. The Gerber knife only weighs 2.4 ounces, and that's with this little bit of paracord that I added. Now, I will say that the back knife is so light that my scale won't even register its weight. So if you typically don't use a knife, but you want something just in case, well then the back knife would be perfect for you. Me personally, I just feel like I'm going to injure myself with the back knife. So for me, the 2.4 ounces of my Gerber is well worth the peace of mind that I'm not going to have to call SOS because I cut myself in the field. So if you take everything on my list and you trade it out from its ultralight alternatives, you're talking about adding 1 pound and 3 ounces total to your loadout, which is not insurmountable even in the world of ultralight. But maybe I'm off the mark. If I am, then let me know in the comments below. Since you made it this far, you might as well hit that like button and help me out a bit. If you aren't subscribed, please consider doing so. Thanks for watching, and be sure the next time that you're out, take a seat.